Bullying, low self esteem, suicide, and depression. These are all things that teens deal with today more so than when I was a teen. One of the biggest reasons of this is because of discrimination against homosexuality. Gay, lesbian, transgender, we see it more often today than we have in the past. Not because it wasn't around, but because people are becoming more open about it. Does that mean that it is being more accepted today than in the past? No, most definitely not. Discrimination against homosexuality is a lot harder to prevent because sexual orientation is not listed in the civil rights, like laws against discrimination against race, gender, age, or religion. This makes it a lot harder to prevent those horrible acts. Suicide has pretty much taken over rank of teen issues, even higher than teen pregnancy. Numerous studies show that more teens that are homosexual or transgender will commit suicide over teens that are heterosexual. The Suicide Prevention Resource Center stated that 30 to 40% of LGBT youth has attempted suicide just this year. Suicide is the second leading cause of death in young LGBT adults. Here are some of the listed facts about suicide that could shed some light on the seriousness of this. LGBT youth are 4 times more likely to commit suicide, and questioning LGBT youth are 3 times more likely to commit suicide. These numbers are really high for our teens. LGBT youth who have come from highly rejecting families are 8.4 times more likely to have attempted suicide as LGBT peers who reported no or low levels of family rejection. 1 out of 6 nationwide grades 9 through 12 seriously consider suicide in the past year. Suicide attempts are nearly 2 times higher than LGBT, Black, and Hispanic youth than white youth. Each episode of LGBT victimization, such as physical or verbal harassment or abuse, increases the likelihood of self-harming behavior by 2.5 times on the average. Suicide rates amongst youth ages 15 to 24 have increased more than 300% since the 1950s. That's sad how much it has increased. And the LGBT youth, suicide is the #1 leading cause of death. It has been predictably estimated that 1,500 gay and lesbian youth commit suicide every year. How can we help? One of the biggest factors that the teens home life. They need to feel accepted at home. If they don't have a safe place to go to, then suicide is more likely an option for them. School safety is another thing that can help. We have to make sure these children are not being bullied at school and that they have an ear to listen to their concerns. Suicide is a scary thing, and the numbers are too high in our country. We need to do something to fix it. Let's talk about another issue aside from suicide: hate crimes. Hate crimes in the LGBT youth are so high it's scary. Most of the youth that are in the LGBT community fear of being a victim of hate crime. A hate crime is a targeted criminal activity, usually motivated by prejudice based on perceived personal characteristics of the victims. These motivations may include race, religion, ethnicity, and sexual orientation. 1 in 5 LGBT people have experienced a homophobic hate crime just in the last year. In the U.S., 6,222 hate crime incidents have been involving 7,254 offenses were reported in 2011. Out of the 6,200 crimes reported, 21% resulted from sexual orientation discrimination. At least 3 gay people become hate crime victims every day. Here are some more alarming facts about hate crimes in our country. 17% of LGBT citizens have been victimized by perpetrators of hate crimes within the last 3 years. 75% of these hate crime victims do not report the incidents to law enforcement because they don't realize that it's a crime. 20% are threatened with bodily harm or rape, while 13% are groped or otherwise sexually assaulted. 30% of victims fail to report because they are skeptical that the police will actually pursue the matter. 50% of the offenders are strangers below the age of 25, and 30% offenders are previously acquainted with their victims. The hate crime rate is definitely out of hand. There are many resources a teen can go to, however, the problem itself may not ever be resolved. The issues that teens can go through every day are heartbreaking. What can we as their elders do to help? There are so many different programs that are out there to help teens that are struggling with their sexual orientation get through it in a healthy way. It is difficult and emotional. There is no easy way, but we can help them manage it. The Trevor Project is one of the resources that teens can use. The Trevor Project was founded in 1998 by the creators of the Academy Award-winning short film Trevor. The Trevor Project is a leading national organization providing crisis intervention and suicide prevention services to lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and questioning LGBT young people ages 13 to 24. Another great resource, which is probably the one that most people hear about, is the It Gets Better Project. In September 2010, author Dan Savage created a YouTube video with his partner Terry Miller to inspire for young people facing harassment. In response to a number of students taking their own lives after being bullied in school, they wanted to create a personal way for supporters everywhere to tell the LGBT youth that yes, it does in fact get better. ItGetsBetter.org is a place where young people who are lesbian, gay, bisexual, or transgender can see how love and happiness can be a reality in their future. It is also a place where our heterosexual allies can visit and support their friends and family members. The last resource that I have is the Human Rights Campaign. The Human Rights Campaign is just another resource where teens can talk to counselors over the phone or online and have support of their peers. On the Human Rights Campaign website, which is www.hrc.org, you can also learn about the LGBT community. It has information about many resources, laws that protect you, support groups. It is even a perfect place for heterosexual community to learn about the LGBT. There are so many different resources out there that can help our LGBT youth. The first step in fixing this problem is researching it and learning about it. It is very important for our young generation to overcome these obstacles such as suicide, depression, and hate crime. They look up to their elders, and we have to make them feel safe and at ease. We have to put a stop to discrimination all around. It is taking over our world, and that is a scary thing. What can we do to prevent discrimination against the LGBT youth? We can listen, talk, and research. How hard is that?